welcome to Svaroopa Yoga. I'm your teacher, Terni, and I'm going to give you some basics of Svaroopa Yoga, which is a yoga for your back, your body, your mind, for coming into bliss, for being peaceful. You will need a chair for this class, a pair of blocks or books for under your hand, or if not, pillows, and a support for under your head. And we will begin with some basic breathing. And the first pose, we're going to learn the magic 4. And the first pose is called slow motion dive. But before we do that, I'm going to just explain a little bit about the breathing. First of all, in Svaroopa Yoga, we always breathe through the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. So you can just try that yourself. Inhale, exhale. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Now, a specific breathing technique we do in Svaroopa Yoga is called Ujjayi Breathing. And it also can be named ocean breathing because it sounds like the ocean. And to do that, you're going to narrow the passageway in your throat, the same muscles you would use to cough or clear your throat, but more gently. So the best way to do this is to tuck your chin, to narrow the passageway in your throat, and begin to breathe through your nose into the throat. And see if you can hear an echoing breath or a breath that sounds like the ocean. The same sound on the inhale as on the exhale. The same sound on the exhale as on the inhale. So listen to the sound of your breath. Tuck your chin, it makes it a little easier to find the sound. And then we're going to take this into the first part of slow motion dive, which is the first pose of the magic 4, which are 4 poses to strengthen and release any tension in your spine and open your joints. So to start, you want to have your heels under your knees, and you want your knees spread apart as comfortably far as you can, with your heels under your knees and your shin bones vertical and parallel. And then you're going to slide your elbow bones to your knee bones. Let your hands be loose and tuck your chin. So start off with easy breaths through the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. And then see if you can use your throat muscles gently to narrow the passageway in your throat. Use your throat muscles the same as you would to cough or clear your throat, but more gently, never forcing. And listen to that Ujjayi sound as you breathe in and out. Keep your chin tucked, because this will help narrow the passageway. If you can, slow your breath down a little. Take a little longer for each inhale and exhale. The breaths don't have to have be the same length, but they have to have the same sound. So you're using your throat muscles gently to create this sound. And then if possible, see if you can make the sound smooth and even. The same sound on the inhale as on the exhale. And this sound is very healing for the mind as well as the body. It sends oxygen to all your cells. Very relaxing. Helps you fall asleep. Helps get rid of stress. So it's been very beneficial, especially at more anxious times that we are going through right now. Ujjayi helps also to improve your immune system. So do try and practice it at home on your own, or watch the video again. So you're narrowing the passageway in your throat, tucking your chin. When you can do that easily, you can bring your hands to your knees and push back up and see if you can replicate the Ujjayi sitting upright. If you can't, tuck your chin. And if you can't still, come down into stage 1. Long, slow Ujjayi breaths. So you can bring your breathing to a close, and we'll continue on with the magic 4 slow motion dive. So stage 1, elbows on your knees, tuck your chin. And this is stage 1, which we did with Ujjayi breathing. You can do stage 1 with Ujjayi breathing or not. If you've already done a separate practice of Ujjayi breathing, then don't add Ujjayi to this pose. But if you haven't, you certainly can. Sorry for the interruption. I had an interruption from my computer, which cut me off. So we're resuming. So we're going to go into stage 2 of Ujjayi. Your feet are well apart. Your knees are well apart with your heels under your knees, your toes turned in slightly, and keep your big toes down. So this is stage 1 with elbows on your knees. And we're going to go to stage 2. However, if you have high blood pressure, a headache, eye pressure problems, glaucoma, hiatic hernia, dizziness, stay in stage 1, which is what we're doing now. If you don't have any of the pre-indications, you can bring your hands down between your feet with your palms turned up. Tuck your chin. Let your whole back and neck relax, relaxing your head, your neck, your shoulders, your spine through the rib cage, down through your waist, and into your sacrum, and into the base of your spine, called the tailbone or the coccyx. The whole pose, stage 1 and 2, is done for 2 minutes. We'll hold this about a minute, stage 2. And if you are staying in stage 1, just breathe and hold in stage 1 with your elbows on your knees. At any point you want to come back to stage 1, you can bring one elbow at a time back to your knees. We'll hang out here for a few more breaths for those who are okay with slow motion dive stage 2. And then to come up, bring one elbow at a time back to your knees. You want to use our arms and legs instead of our back muscles. Stay there for a couple of breaths because this pose is a deep inversion. Keep your chin tucked. Keep your feet flat on the floor, especially your toes. And then take your hands to your knees and use your arms to push you upright. And notice how you feel, especially the back of your body, your neck, your shoulders, your spine, all the way down through your waist, sacrum, and tailbone. Do you find any tight spots? And actually, it's a good thing to answer yes and say you did. However, if you're totally in your mind and not in your body, you may not feel your body at this point. But if you notice tight spots, then you notice that where you're holding tension in your body. And we all hold some tension in our bodies. I've been teaching this yoga for over 20 years, and right now I have a small tension in my lower spine. I've been out gardening too. So let's go to the second magic 4 pose, which is called crooked leg. So bring your toes to touch and your heels slightly apart. I'm going to back up a bit just so you can see my feet. Knees fairly close together. And you're going to bring your left ankle bone to your knee thigh. Or if you want to do the right and mirror me, that's fine. So your ankle bone is right in the center of your thigh, knee, not hanging over the side. If this is very uncomfortable, you can bring a chair. I'll show you here. You can bring another chair close to your chair you're sitting on, and put a roll blanket under your thigh to help support your leg and your spine. So it would look like this. And if you need more than one blanket, you could use it. You would take your hand to the outside of your knee, whether you're supporting your leg or not, lift it up higher, and take your other hand to your ankle and slide your ankle up closer to your hip crease or your thigh crease. Tuck your chin. And this is stage 1 of slow motion crooked leg. The leg that's on the floor, make sure your knee is upright, not turned to the side, angled to the side, but upright over your ankle. Your toes are turned in slightly. You don't want to have your foot out like this, but centered or slightly turned in. Tuck your chin for stage 1. Make sure the ankle bone is right in the center of your thigh. Easy breathing through the nose. We don't do Ujjayi with poses, the exception being the first pose of the magic 4 slow motion dive. But with other poses, we just breathe through the nose. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Then you may notice a tightness in your hip socket, your hip, or your sacrum. This is a pose for the sacrum, which helps the hip. To go to stage 2, you would lift your torso up and round forward. If you have any of the counterindications from the last pose, make sure your head does not go below your heart or stay in stage 1. Stage 2, the arms come out to the side or they come in front between your legs and knees. Tuck your chin and just angle forward. If you can't do that, just tuck your chin and round your upper back forward a little bit. You can keep your hands on your leg, whether it's here or out here. Never forcing, but encouraging. This pose may be uncomfortable. It is even for me. I'm tight in the hips. Or it can be uncomfortable, but not painful. So do support your knee and thigh if you need to. Breathe and soften into the pose. And then to come out, lift your head. Bring your hand to the underneath your knee, lift it up, and bring your foot down. And you might want to notice and feel the difference between the two sides. Often one side of the spine and body is tighter than the other. Maybe you notice that. So bring your toes together, your heels a little apart. I have my feet maybe a toes length forward of my knees, just so that when I bring the foot up, my shin bone is vertical. So let's do the other side. You notice the difference between the two sides? Maybe one side feels lower or softer, or you have your own experience of what this pose does for you. So take your right ankle bone or your other ankle bone to your knee thigh. Make sure the ankle is right in the center. You're going to take your hand to the outside of your knee, lift it up, and slide your ankle bone higher. Or if you're using the chair and the blanket roll, bring the chair in close. Place the blanket underneath your thigh, not under the knee, but under the thigh to support your back and your leg and your hip. And maybe a knee, even if you have a tight knee. Stage 1, tuck your chin. Easy breathing through the nose. Soften your neck and shoulders. Turn your foot on the floor. Make sure the toes are turned in slightly and your knee is straight up over your ankle. To go to stage 2, lift your torso and round forward, either arms out to the side. Show you like this. Arms out to the side or in front between your thighs and knees. Tuck your chin and come forward. Easy breathing through the nose. And we hold each side for 2 minutes, including stage 1 and 2. So let the lengthening go all the way down from your neck, head, shoulders to your waist and sacrum. Your sacrum is the big triangular bone below your waist. And this is wonderful for your hips. and lower back. To come up, place your hands on the knee of the leg that's on the ground and push with your arms to push your back up. Or you could still have the support under your thigh if you need it. Take your hand to the outside of your knee, lift it up, and bring your leg down. Legs together. Notice if this side was easier or tighter than the first side. And are both sides of your body, spine, evened out? So those are the two poses in the chair. The first one for the tailbone, sacrum, coccyx, the second one for the sacrum. Now we're going to move the chairs out of the way and come onto the floor to do lunge. So get your blocks or supports you can put under your hands. As I said, big books, blocks are better. You can order them online through Amazon and I think other places. You can check for yoga blocks and see if you can get a pair, was what I would suggest. But for now, you can use blankets, books, or even pillows. So something more solid is better than the pillow. So I'm going to move my chairs out of the way and we're going to come down onto the ground or onto your carpet, ideally. Move my water. So these are my blocks here, one under each hand. And if you have a problem with a knee, you might have a blanket or a knee pad under your knee to support it if it hurts to kneel on the floor. I'll just move these out of the way for now. I don't use them, but you can use a blanket, a folded blanket or a knee pad or a thick towel under your knee or knees if there's a problem with that. Your hands are more or less under your shoulders. Your hands are on the blocks with the fingers spread wide. Make sure you have enough space between your blocks to get your leg. So the first leg you did in the chair, I did the left. So you're going to bring that leg forward of your blocks. Back your blocks under your shoulders. And you're going to turn your right block, the opposite block of the leg that's forward, higher up. You can turn it to the second level or the higher level. If you have books, then I guess you can't turn them on their side. This is the advantage of having the blocks. Lift your torso up, back your hip. Keep your front foot on the floor. The whole sole of the foot stays on the floor. You're going to find your navel with your left hand. Go down an inch and over to the left. That's if your left leg is forward. Dig about 3 or 4 ends of your fingers into your lower belly. Pull it sideways and place it on your thigh. Don't move your knee forward. Take your palm to your ribs, your left ribs. Lift your ribs up and place them on your thigh. Now walk your blocks forward, turn them to the lowest level, most likely. Spread your fingers, tuck your chin, back your shoulders, and lunge your hip and knee all the way forward. And then look at your shin bone. Your shin bone should be vertical, so you may have to wiggle your toes forward so your shin is vertical, or if your knee is way over your toes, then you're going to have to move your heel sideways and back so that the knee is over your ankle. So I need to move my leg forward. Your arms are under your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide. Tuck your chin, back your shoulders, and feel the lengthening through the back of the waist on that left side. And also through your back thigh. Your back thigh is lengthening and your back hip crease is opening. This is a gentle back bend for your lower spine. Also releases your back, your sciatica. Easy breathing through the nose. Keep your arms more or less straight and under your shoulders. Your fingers spread wide on the blocks. Shoulders back, neck long. Your back hip crease opening. Your back thigh lengthening. And the back of the waist lengthening. To come out of lunge, push back with your arms to back your hips. Back your hands and back your leg. Now the hardest part, the challenge of this pose is to get your abs and ribs on top of your thighs. So when you come forward, it's going to lengthen through the back of your waist. So let's try this on the other side. So bring your right leg forward or the opposite leg. I bring my foot all the way forward of the block so that when I come forward, my shin bone is about in the right place. Another thing you want to watch is your front foot is not in line with your back knee. They're like two railway tracks. You're not on a trapeze. Okay? So you're back your hips. Take your blocks back under your shoulders and turn the opposite left block higher. I'm going to take it to the highest level, which may help in the beginning. Lift your torso up, place your other hand on your knee thigh. Back your hips a little, because the lower the thigh, the easier it is to get your abs and ribs on top. So take your right hand, find your navel, go down an inch, over to the right. Dig your fingers into your lower belly, pull sideways, and place it on your thigh. Take your palm to your ribs, lift your ribs up and down over your thigh, and walk your hands and blocks forward, turning them to the lowest level. Tuck your chin, back your shoulders, and lunge your hip and knee all the way forward. And if your foot is too far forward, you may need to wiggle your heel back and forth to bring your heel under your knee. And if your toes are too far back, then you need to wiggle your toes forward again so your knee is over your ankle and your shin bone is vertical. Your hands are under your shoulders. They're not necessarily in line with your foot. Tuck your chin, back your shoulders. Feel lengthening through the right side of the waist, especially if you got your abs and ribs on your thigh, which may take a little practice. Tuck your chin, back your shoulders. Your back thigh is lengthening and your hip crease is opening. And we're climbing the spine, we're targeting the waist area. But we're also targeting the sacrum and the ribs and the shoulders. Easy breathing through the nose. And to come out, back your hips, back your hands, and back your leg. And that is lunge, the third of the magic four. The last pose we're going to do is called rotated stomach pose. And you will need a support under your head. I use 2 knee pads, but you could use a pillow, a blanket. You do want enough under your head so your chin and your forehead are level. You never want to arch your head or neck back. Chin parallel, chin and forehead parallel to the ceiling. So You will lie on your backs. Angle a little bit. I'm putting 2 knee pads under my head. Bring your knees into the chest and hold your knees side by side. And then you can spread your arms wide in line with your shoulders, or if that's too much for you, just hold your knees and roll over to the right. The bottom knee is in line with your wrist bone. I don't know if you can see that. I'm hoping you can. Maybe I'll go back just a bit. So I roll to the right and my bottom knee comes to join my wrist bone. My heels come under my knee. And my back arm, my palm is on my ribs waist and my elbow is coming towards the floor. If my elbow reaches the floor, I can extend my arm out into an A-frame. So both arms are in an A-frame. Turn your head towards your knees. Your bottom knee is in line with your wrist bone, touching your wrist bone, and your other knee leg is on top of the under one. The knees won't be quite together because the bottom knee will extend further out than the top knee, just the way our body goes. Easy breathing. Your back hand out to the side if the elbow comes down. Soften your shoulder towards the floor. If your elbow and arm are off the ground, bring your palm to your ribs waist. You could have a block or a blanket under your back elbow if it's way off the ground, like up here, you could support it with a block or a blanket. Then you can bring your knees back to the center. Maybe I'll roll over this way, hopefully be able to see me better. And roll your knees to the left, bottom knee to wrist bone. Your back hand, your palm by your ribs waist. Turn your head towards your knees. Your heels are in line with your knees. You don't want them back by your buttocks, but you want them out, so your legs are almost making a right angle. If your back elbow reaches the ground, you can bring your back arm into an A-frame. And this is a very good pose for your mind as well as your body. All the poses are good for the mind, but this is one that's especially more relaxing and good for the mind. Good if you have trouble sleeping, you can do this in bed. And also, if you have a gap between your two legs, if they don't come together, you can put a pillow or a folded blanket between your thighs, which I'll show you. I have a thinner one here, but you could use whatever you have. Fold it in a rectangle or a square. I'll lie this way. And I'll roll towards the camera. And you could put the blanket between your thighs if you have a gap. Make sure you support your head. Make sure your heels are in line with your knee, not your buttocks. Soften your back shoulder. Turn your head towards your knees. Easy breathing. And then we'll do Shavasana, which is the relaxation body awareness. So you can use a chair. If you are a Svaroopa yogi and you have blankets, fine, you can roll your blankets. Otherwise, I'll show you how to use a chair under your legs. So you'll have your same prop under your head, and you'll stay on the floor. And you'll bring the backs of your knees to the edge of the chair so that your back will be flat. Lie down. Place your props under your head. Bring your arms out to the side with your palms turned up. And just a little self-adjustment you could do is lift your hips and buttocks and bring them in a little closer to the chair. Soften your shoulders into the floor. You can lift one shoulder and bring it down. Lift the other shoulder and shoulder blade and bring it down. Your chin and forehead are level. Your palms are facing up. And you can take a couple of deep breaths, and I will bring you through Shavasana. I would normally use music in my class, but I'm teaching online, intermediates online, and they found the music was interfering with my voice. So I've decided to cut my music for now. So I hope you're all ready to relax in Shavasana, yoga's relaxation pose. So take a nice long inhale and a nice easy exhale. And notice how it feels to be in your body. Now, compared to the beginning of the class, notice how your body feels as you settle into Shavasana, yoga's relaxation pose. Become aware of your toes, all 10 toes, all at the same time. And you can wiggle them and notice them. Become aware of your feet, both feet at the same time. Notice your toes and feet outside and inside. And it's a good idea to close your eyes while you're doing Shavasana and just let your awareness go inside. Extend your awareness through your ankles and into and through the length of both legs, including lower legs, knees, and thighs, and into and through both hips and hip joints, outside and inside. Being aware of both feet, legs, and hips, outside and inside. Extend your awareness into the area between your hips and hip joints, across the base of your pelvis, outside and inside, and into and through your belly, outside and inside. Become aware of your chest, your whole chest, including all the way up through the fronts of your shoulders and across your collarbones. Being aware of your whole chest, outside and inside. Extend your awareness around the sides of your torso and into your back. Become aware of your whole back, including the backs of your shoulder blades, the space between your shoulder blades, the back of your ribs, the back of your waist, and through the whole lower portion of your back, including the back of your hips and buttocks, and from the center of your waist down through your sacrum and into your tailbone. Being aware of your whole back, your whole torso, front and back, outside and inside. Extend your awareness from your torso through your arms and into your hands. Notice your fingers and thumbs and through both hands. Become aware of your wrists and through your arms, the length of both arms, including lower arms, elbows, and upper arms, including your underarms and shoulders, hands, arms, and shoulders, outside and inside. Extend your awareness from your torso through your shoulders and into your neck, becoming aware of your neck, outside and inside. Extend your awareness through your neck into your face, head, and brain, outside and inside. Now being aware of your whole body, including your feet and legs, your torso, the whole trunk of your body, your hands and arms, and from your torso through your shoulders, neck, face, and head, outside and inside, all at the same time. Being aware of your whole body, allowing Shavasana to have an effect on your whole body, allowing Shavasana to have an effect on your body, your mind, and more. Notice your breathing. And you can take a nice long inhale, a nice easy exhale. You can begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can roll your head gently to one side, bringing the ear to the ground, and then over to the other side, bringing your ear to the ground and back to the center. And you can bring your knees into the chest one at a time and wrap your hands around both knees, knees touching, big toes touching. And you can roll over to one side and push up. And you can come over to your chair unless you have a blanket. And you can bring your fingertips into your hip creases. And you can come forward, bringing your head to the chair or your forehead. Seal the energy of the yoga inside, integrating body, mind, spirit, bliss, and consciousness. And take the best of your practice with you during the week. And you can slowly come up. I'll face you. We usually end the class with the hands in front of the chest. If you can't sit on your heels, you can kneel or you can sit on your buttocks. Namaste. Peace. Keep healthy, keep well. And I hope I'll see you all in September at class. Thank you for coming.